A year ago, this driver couldn't consistently beat his own teammate. Today, at just 19 years old, he's 50 points clear at the top of the Formula One World Championship, the youngest winner in Monaco Grand Prix history, and on track to become the youngest world champion the sport has ever seen. This isn't a lucky streak. This isn't a fluke weekend that got out of hand. By the time this video ends, you're going to understand exactly how Kimi Antonelli pulled off one of the fastest, most dramatic transformations Formula One has witnessed in years, and why even he didn't see it coming. Let's rewind first, because understanding how unlikely this actually is makes the story even more remarkable. When Antonelli arrived at Mercedes, he wasn't stepping into just any seat on the grid. He was replacing Lewis Hamilton, a 7-time world champion who'd just departed for Ferrari, taking over one of the most scrutinized, pressure-filled positions in the entire sport as a teenager with barely any senior single-seater experience behind him. His rookie season in 2025 was honestly rough around the edges. Decent, some podium finishes, but he was regularly outperformed by his far more experienced teammate George Russell, and there were genuine, serious questions circulating in the paddock about whether Mercedes had rushed a talented but genuinely unready kid into a seat that demanded far more polish than he currently possessed. Then 2026 arrived, and everything flipped almost overnight. Antonelli has won 6 of the season's first 11 Grand Prix, including 5 consecutive victories in a row, a run of dominance that's genuinely rare for any driver on this grid, let alone one still in just his second full Formula One season. He became the youngest ever winner of the Monaco Grand Prix, arguably the most demanding, unforgiving circuit on the entire calendar, a race where experience and surgical precision usually matter more than raw natural talent alone. And by the time the summer break arrived, he wasn't just competitive anymore. He was leading the championship by a genuinely commanding 50-point margin over Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton sitting in second place. Antonelli himself has been remarkably candid about how surprising this entire transformation has been, even to him personally. Speaking after the Hungarian Grand Prix, he openly admitted he never actually expected to reach the summer break holding the championship lead, crediting Mercedes for going above and beyond to support him through his difficult rookie transition. That kind of honesty is genuinely unusual coming from a driver in his position. Most title contenders project pure, unwavering confidence publicly at every opportunity, but Antonelli seems fully aware of just how quickly this entire situation turned around underneath him. So what actually changed between a shaky, uncertain rookie season and this level of outright dominance? Mercedes deputy team principal Bradley Lord offered genuine insight into that transformation, explaining that the team made a deliberate, calculated choice to shelter Antonelli from unnecessary pressure and constant media demands during his introduction to the sport, having learned directly from an earlier incident where an eager, unrestrained Antonelli crashed during a Monza practice session back in 2024. Instead of overloading him with marketing commitments and relentless scrutiny, Mercedes carefully managed his exposure, allowing his confidence to build gradually rather than forcing him to perform under a suffocating media spotlight before he was genuinely ready for it. Lord specifically praised how Antonelli's self-belief has grown steadily week by week without ever tipping into overconfidence, crediting both the team's careful management and Antonelli's own family for keeping him firmly grounded throughout this entire rise. That's a genuinely different development path than most young Formula One prodigies typically receive, usually thrust immediately into relentless press cycles and crushing expectation before they've had any real room to mature into that pressure at their own pace. There's also a technical dimension worth understanding here that goes beyond just individual talent. The 2026 regulation reset fundamentally changed the competitive landscape across the entire grid, and Mercedes adapted to those new rules better than almost any other team on the calendar. Antonelli benefited from a genuinely competitive car arriving at exactly the moment his own driving matured, A rare combination of timing and preparation that simply doesn't happen for most young drivers coming up through the ranks. Where he was previously being outpaced by Russell's years of accumulated experience, that entire dynamic has now completely reversed, with Antonelli consistently out-qualifying and out-racing a teammate who's been competing in Formula One considerably longer than he has. Even Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff has been vocal about believing in Antonelli's ceiling for a long time now, previously stating with real confidence that he considers him absolutely world champion material, well before this season's actual results arrived to validate that belief publicly in front of the entire sport. So what should fans actually be watching for heading into the second half of this season? Does Antonelli's remarkable consistency hold up under the growing weight of genuinely being the championship favorite now, rather than the surprise underdog everyone initially wrote off after last year's shaky start? Does Hamilton, sitting 50 points behind, actually find a realistic way to meaningfully close the gap across the remaining 12 races of the calendar? And perhaps most interestingly of all, does this end up becoming the exact moment historians look back on as the true beginning of Formula One's next genuine generational talent, arriving years ahead of anyone's original schedule or expectation? A driver who couldn't consistently beat his own teammate just one single year ago is now the outright favorite to become Formula One's youngest ever world champion in history. Let me know in the comments below. Did you personally see this coming from Antonelli this season? Or has his rise genuinely surprised you just as much as it apparently surprised him? Subscribe for more content like this, because this rookie story might just be turning into one of the single defining narratives of the entire 2026 Formula One season.